I'm Clarissa Sawyer from Acton TV, Acton's cable access TV station. We're here today to gather the story behind the story of Fox TV's Zip Trip Acton. This morning we're going to be interviewing people from around the town who are going to be on the live broadcast and getting their impressions and reactions to today's show, along with the Fox TV crew and members of the audience who are here watching.
We're here in Acton this morning, and it is going to be a really nice morning, although Cindy is threatening a little thunderstorm here in a few minutes. We'll see how that goes.
Put a damper on what we got going on here this morning in Acton. Much more coming your way this morning as we zip trip on this Friday morning on the Fox 25 Morning News. Preparing for the zip trips actually starts back in February. We randomly pick towns. Generally what we do now is we hit towns we haven't hit before. We've done about 150 of them overall. So it gets to the point now we're like, okay, let's find towns we haven't gone to, and Acton hasn't been on the list yet, for example.
We were approached by Fox 25. They gave me a phone call and said, hey, Acton's going to be a zip trip site.
We assign producers to go through what the town has to offer, to talk to some people in town, set up restaurants, stuff like that.
So there's a lot of prep work. We start about a month in advance, contacting the town, getting a live location.
We started brainstorming about people to contact and suggest that they make an appeal to be on the show, because we have so many great things going on in Acton, so many great people.
We have this online poll, and a lot of people wrote in, there's one part on there about the hometown hero, and a lot of people wrote in about Dan Silva.
Well, Fox 25 called me and wanted me to come in and talk about the Acton 9/11 Memorial, which I'm on the committee, and the Acton Police Department, and a women's self-defense class that we teach for high school young ladies who are going off to college.
And of course, I'm not from Acton, so I knew nothing about him. And it was a list of things. He has a Bronze Star. He's a police officer in town. He works with the youth. He teaches, self-defense for women. And
arrived, and while they were talking, the producers and stuff were like, "Oh, where's the hometown hero?" And they pointed to me, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. So apparently I was picked to be the hometown hero.
And you just learned about it today?
Yes, just learned about it this morning.
So
5 minutes before I went on.
Wow, so how does that feel?
It's nice. I guess folks sent in emails and wrote letters. It's very nice. It's always nice to know that folks, think you're doing a good job and appreciate the work that you do. We have 33 members of the police department. We work very hard here to keep folks safe and to do the right thing for people.
And the list went on, and that was one thing that opened my eyes when you start to get a lot of emails about one individual, about what they've accomplished. The 9/11 Memorial was another thing.
The Acton 9/11 Memorial, and it was started by firefighter Tom Matthews.
It started just under 2 years ago. Received an email about the New York Port Authority giving out steel to different organizations that want to incorporate it into a memorial. So I got in touch with John and a couple of the committee members, and we decided to go ahead and pursue it. Went to the town, got their approval, and so we've been going on it since. Decided to put it in front of the PSF. Seemed like that was a logical place to put it, since the loss of fire safety personnel and police personnel was large that day. So that's where I decided the location.
And about 2 weeks out, then we start really coming up to town, videotaping different things and getting the whole show ready.
Then we do a lot of B-roll pre-shooting before we come. There's a lot of on-the-phone work where we set up people and tell them what's expected, because we go to these towns and a lot of people have never been on TV before.
The day of the zip trip, the crew comes out here, and they're here about 3 o'clock in the morning. They're running cables. They're getting set up for the live broadcast.
There's a lot that goes on.
I'm just looking at the variety assignments when you get.
Sure, I actually have them right now for you. We are on, Gene and Kim are on Fox 5, Cindy is on Fox 3, and BB is on Fleet.
I don't think people have any concept of what it takes to take this show out for 4 full hours. These guys come 2 or 3 hours prior to our arrival and set all this up. They deal with these adverse conditions, and they keep this on the air.
Yeah, so making sure we have a signal, they're making sure we have audio, and then we get here and we do it, and it all falls into place nicely. So we've got it down to a pretty good science, and it works out well. And every town we go to, we always learn something, we have fun, and the people are very appreciative of us coming out.
This is a pretty vibrant town. It's got a lot of participation, very intelligent people, obviously an excellent school system. We don't want people to know about Acton. It's our little jewel. But it's hard when you end up as the 16th best place to live in the country by Forbes Money magazine. It's hard to keep your light under a bushel basket. So.
All right, AJ, it's time for Zip Trip Trivia in Acton on our Acton Zip Trip. Michaela Moran is here. Is it Moran?
Yes.
All right, not Moran, because we've had that conversation a few times before. She's going to do our Zip Trip Trivia and tell everybody about the words of encouragement that your husband gave you when you found out you were going to be the unwitting suspect.
You?
He says you don't know anything about Acton.
Well, he may be right.
We're going to
We'll
find out about that. Yes, you're on the town's historic commission, have been for years. Lived here for almost half your life now, right?
Yes, indeed.
Those are pretty good credentials.
Well, we'll see, won't we?
And as I found out last week, there's a lot more going on in this sleepy little town than people realize.
Indeed there is.
Including this park that we're in right now was not here not too many years ago.
No, 10 years ago wasn't here.
And what a beautiful job they did. So.
Isn't it? It's a lovely place.
A good thing. You like to see your taxes go to something worthy once in a while.
Yes, something that we can all use.
All right, Michaela, by the way, that's the name of my niece, so you need to live up to that name now.
Oh, well.
Straighten up and fly right. Here we go. I got 10 questions, rapid fire answers. We go through this quickly and you'll do just fine.
All right.
And then you get to tell your husband, how do you like them apples if you do well.
How do you like them apples?
Here we go. Acton Zip Trip Trivia. Michaela Moran. Question 1. What's the name of the dinosaur in front of the Children's Museum in Acton?
Bessie.
1 for 1. Question 2. What JFK relative was born and raised in Acton?
His grandmother, Rose.
2 for 2. Question 3. What historical figure rides through Acton on a horse every Patriots Day?
Oh, actually, most people think it's Paul Revere, but it's not.
It's,
oh God. He rides up to the Faulkner House every Patriots Day.
That will not score.
And this is,
I'm going to have to go with Dr. Prescott.
This is bad.
Yes,
Bad.
2 for 3.
Samuel Prescott.
There you go. Who's the famous son of Acton parents, Harriet and Edwin?
No clue.
That would be Steve Carell, the most famous son.
Of course.
You ought to be thrown into the pond for that. Question 5. How many people are supposedly buried under the Isaac Davis Monument in the town common? 3. Yes, very well done. Question 6. This is an important one. Does any self-respecting Actonian ever attend any of the Pfeiffer's Day celebrations in Boxborough?
Indeed, we do. In fact, we play volleyball there a lot.
And you know what? You are correct, because they have a donut eating contest, and I would definitely go there. So you're right. Question 7. Which one's brother was a selectman in Acton? Whitey Bulger, Kevin Weeks, or John Connolly?
Connolly.
No, Kevin Weeks, his brother William, yes.
Okay,
question 8. What Fox show set part of an episode this year in Acton, even though they filmed none of it in Acton?
Oh, that's that new one about the space alien people, right?
I guess I can accept that. Fringe, yes, that was
Fringe,
close
there we
enough.
go.
Question 9, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate Robert Frost's poem, The Vanishing Red, which is set in Acton?
Oh, 10, absolutely.
How about 2? That poem is terrible. It doesn't rhyme. I don't even know what's going on in it. It's awful.
It's all right. You'll get it.
You get -1 for that answer. And finally, the state's award for civilian bravery is named after what heroic Acton native?
Isaac Davis?
It is not Isaac Davis. It's a young lady, and you're going to have to stick around to find out the answer to that.
I will
because
have
that's
to.
a woman you need to know a lot more about. She was a real hero on 9/11, and I'm going to wait and reveal that to you a little bit later on. There you go. You know it now. So you did okay.
I did okay.
You know what? Tell your husband how you like them apples.
How do
just
you like
because.
them apples? Only 1 cup of coffee.
Michaela Moran, not bad this morning. A little Acton Zip Trip trivia for you.
Thank
I'll
you.
never forgive you for that Steve Carell miss, though.
Well, I didn't know his parents. I know his brothers.
Outrageous. Outrageous. We'll take a break. Much more to do. Looks like the rain is letting up, so we'll tell you about that when we come back. Stick around.
Thanks.
today you were interviewed as part of the Fox TV show, and I'd love you to tell me a little bit about what brought you to the show today, and also about the organizations you represent for the town of Acton.
Well, I was called up last Friday, and they said, get your bustle on and get over to the tavern. They need it unlocked. So I grabbed my petticoats and literally ran for the tavern with my cap and bonnet.
And you represent what organization?
Ironwork Farm.
Can you say a little bit about what that is for people who don't know about it?
Ironwork Farm is a local nonprofit that owns 2 museum houses, which we open during the summer, and then we have a blast on the first Saturday evening of October. We open the tavern and we serve home brew beer.
Wow, and you're referring to the Jones Tavern, which is in South Acton near the train station, is that right?
I'm absolutely referring to the Jones Tavern, across from our Great Exchange Hall.
Terrific. And you said there's 2 homes you represent. What's the second?
Over on the other side of the bridge, across up the hill from Erickson's Grain Store, is the first house in Acton, the Jones Faulkner homestead. Yeah.
The Jones Faulkner house. That's the very first house that was built in Acton?
Yes, 1707.
Wow, I didn't even know that. That's amazing.
You should come and visit us on our open house. You give me your information, I'll send you the date.
Well, that sounds great. I certainly will. Now, tell me about you. What brings you to the Fox TV show today?
Well, I was tagged to do the interview for the trivia, and I failed. I failed the most important question, and that was Samuel Prescott shows up at the Faulkner homestead every Patriots Day. So I'm just correcting my mistake.
And who is this person that you were supposed to have remembered?
Samuel Prescott brought the alarm from Boston to Acton to alarm the Minutemen, alert the Minutemen who went to the North Bridge.
Wow.
Revere was captured. He finished the ride.
Oh,
finished the ride.
Thank you. That's really interesting. So, do you know anything about the time of day that he was doing that?
Middle of the night, he showed up, banged on the house, screamed. The colonel reached out his bedroom window and fired off the alarm. We got the Minutemen there, and by dawn, by morning, they were marching out.
Wow, that's really interesting to know. Acton has so many historical things in it, and I just want to draw attention to the Ironworks Farm sign that you have. Tell me a little bit about the Ironworks Farm and why you're having this display today.
Well, the Ironwork Farm is the nonprofit organization that owns the 2 historic houses, the Jones Tavern and the Faulkner Homestead. The Ironwork Farm was originally the first real enterprise in the town of Acton. It wasn't even the town of Acton at the time. And they harvested the trees to burn for the ironworks in Concord. Then they harvested all the trees, sold off the ironwork failed business-wise because they kept picking bog iron. They didn't really have a mine. So then they sold off the land, and that they ended up selling it to Jones and Knight and another man.
Brothers. 2 Jones brothers and Knight.
And they began the town of Acton.
What time period was this was going on?
1702, the mill was built on the Faulkner, on the Fort Pond Brook at the Great Falls, they called them. That was probably about 10 feet. So,
where is that located in town for people who don't know?
It's at South Acton. It's right next to Erickson's grain mill. If you stand on the railroad bridge and look over, you will see the dam from 1702. It's still extant. It's kind of a cool thing.
And where was the farm located, actually, the Ironworks Farm during that period?
Well, it's the 600 acres that went from the Acton Arboretum down through almost into Maynard. So, big place.
It encompasses all the land that we just purchased as a town. The Coulette land was a part of this.
True.
Yep.
I'm curious about, I did a little bit of background research on the Native American people, and I believe there was the Sarah Doublet from whom the Jones brothers bought the land that the Jones Tavern is on now. Do you know something about that?
I know the legend, or one of the legends. It was not purchased per se. She signed a contract, signed with a little X because she didn't write English, and she stayed there until she died in the upper chamber of one of the rooms in Jones Tavern, and for taking care of her in her old age, they were given the rights to her Neshoba land.
And how much land was that? Do you know?
Quite a bit of land. It's the whole Nagok Pond area, and a lot of Littleton, a lot of up to where Kaliva is, and yeah. So it was a great bit of land.
It was the whole Praying Village piece of land that they were granted when they developed Praying Village.
She was the last of the Praying Indians and had rights to that land and gave it over to Jones for taking care of her in old age.
Well, that's really terrific. Is there any last other things you would like to say to the Acton TV viewers?
Come and visit us, especially on Open Tap Room.
And what day is out Open Tap Room?
First Saturday in October. Starts around 4 in the afternoon, and we go until about 8 or 9.
Terrific. And what about you? Anything you'd like to say to our viewers?
Yes, please come and visit us for the October 1st event. And I want to shout out to my cohort at Coldwell Banker, where I'm a real estate agent. So, yep, shout out.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and congratulations on your successful live broadcast today for Fox TV.
Back here in Acton as we zip trip on the Fox 25 Morning News. The weather has cleared just a little bit, so we're able to move back outside here. And we've got some nice folks. Not everybody here is from Acton. These guys, show us your T-shirts. You guys are from where?
Hubbardston.
They came all the way from Hubbardston. How long of a ride is that about?
About 40 minutes.
A 40-minute ride to come down, show off their nice Fox 25 Morning News T-shirts that they made for us. Yours says, do you have an iHeart VB on there? You do.
Yep.
And an iHeart Gene.
And an iHeart Kim and Cindy on the back.
And an iHeart Kim and Cindy. Isn't that nice? Thank you very much. You added the iHeart VB when you got here because you felt bad for him, right?
Yeah.
That makes good sense. Appreciate you guys coming down. Nice job on the T-shirts too. That's real cool.
And tell me what brought you here today. Are you guys all related?
We think we are, but we're really not.
You mean like switched at birth or something?
No, we just act like a family. But I came to a few last year with my family, so we decided to bring them this year.
That's really exciting. So tell me something you've learned from attending several of these, like kind of what's part of the thing that makes them really exciting to go to?
Well, they always have different things here and something fun to do in the mornings.
Like today, what was fun?
We got to see them and we made shirts for it and stuff.
Yeah, that's really amazing. Your shirts are really beautiful. You've each decorated them yourselves? Wow, that's really neat. And were there any fun gifts that you got? Can you mention something you got today as a free gift?
We got shirts and we got the piggy bank.
Very nice. And what about you?
We got gift cards and
Awesome.
As local landmarks go, Jamie, this one's got a bit of history, huh?
It does. Built in 1860, it was one of the first general stores in the entire nation. And more recently, Rose Kennedy's mother grew up in Acton. So after she was married, her husband, Honey Fitz, the former mayor of Boston, would come out here for society balls and to come and sing and do celebrations. So Rose Kennedy actually spent some time dancing in this very hall.
I did not know that. Also, this is where you come after being up on Beacon Hill to let the people of Acton know what's going on. People of Acton, they're screwing you again. True?
Not true. Actually, I got money to fix up this hall through the Community Preservation Act, so it's something that I helped work to help restore.
And this is the Exchange Hall in town?
It's called the Exchange Hall. That's just speaks to when it used to be a business back at a general store, but now it's for charity functions, for dances, for community meetings, and it's just a great historic landmark.
For political celebrations, right?
Perhaps once in a while, yeah.
Did you ever cut a rug with any Kennedy? That's the question.
I didn't. Too young, sorry.
It's just as well. All right, Jamie, if Acton has nothing else, they have an awesome place to take the kids. Where are we?
We're at the Acton Discovery Museums, which is both a discovery museum and a science museum. Families and their kids come from all over the state, even other states. And I actually, growing up here in Acton, I went to this museum as a kid.
Really? What's your favorite part of this place?
There's a sand part to learn more about how science works with water and sand, and that's my favorite part.
I don't know if you know this, by the way. This thing used to be at Beacon Hill. It was called the Taxosaurus.
It's gone now.
Really? Because it seems like it's still on the hunt. Senator, you know I'm a diner fan, and you know I like to eat. You've taken me to a nice hidden gem here.
Yes, welcome to Julie's Place.
What's the story on Julie's Place?
Well, Julie's Place was started about 10 years ago. The Saganich family is a family that's very well known as being here for a very long time in Acton. So
Julie's a huge camera hog, I've noticed.
Yeah, yep. That little camera shy, yeah.
Being the local celebrity here, is there a Jamie omelet on the menu?
Not yet. I haven't done anything famous.
Julie, we got to get an Eldridge omelet on the menu, for God's sake. What would be in the Eldridge omelet, though?
Probably a liberal dose of eggs and cheese. Yeah.
I noticed you're on my right. This is a first.
Go to the camera on the left, hopefully.
If I come to Julie's in Acton, what's the meals tax going to be?
6.25%.
Friggin' Beacon Hill.
Yep.
All right, Senator, I got to ask, is that a huge monument in the center of town, or are they just happy to see us?
It is a huge monument, Bibi. It's the Isaac Davis Monument. Isaac Davis was the first colonist officer killed in the American Revolution.
Oh, there's a claim to fame for you.
Yep. So the
circumstances by the death? What happened?
He was shot. He was shot by the British at the Old North Bridge in Concord.
I think that's pretty good. By the way, I haven't seen something that impressive since... You know where I'm going here. Well, that last text I got from Representative Weiner. As hidden treasures go, this one not too hidden to me because I'm a Route 2 guy, but Idlewild Farm in town is awesome.
It really is. If I tell people from Acton, the first thing they ask is, oh, have you been to Idlewild Farms?
Don't tell my mother I have been, because if I don't bring her anything and I go buy it, she screams at me every time.
I have the same problem, yeah.
Now, you went to school with these guys, right?
I went to school with the sons and daughters of the three brothers who started Idlewild Farms. It was a small market, and now it's just this amazing place to come, yeah.
It really is. Few towns have a good local farmer market kind of place anymore. Nobody has them like this. This is impressive.
It really is. And great pies, great chocolate, fresh produce, so it's a great place to come and get something.
You getting them any of that federal money to support the farmers? They don't need it here.
No stimulus money here, absolutely not.
They're doing just fine without it, God bless them.
Good morning to you, Elizabeth, where it is dry inside the Dedham Studios, I know, but I hear it is pouring rain outside. We're going to check the radar in just one moment. But here in Acton, finally, we are out of the rain. Let me just confirm. Has it stopped raining? Yes! Yes! And we're just a little happy about that here. I am running around very frantically, especially on days like this, because we've had weather coming on through. On a day when it's quiet, I get to spend more time, talking to the people that have come out. But today I've been in and out of the truck where I have a laptop computer. So I'm checking the radars and I'm seeing the latest information on the storms. And I'm very connected to what's happening. I have to be, because people are still watching for the weather, even though I'm doing it here in Acton. So it's a process that, is constantly changing. And so I'm constantly having to see what's going on. Is someone back in the studio? Our weekend meteorologist, AJ Burnett, is back there, and he is actually on the air on Zip Trip mornings because our show starts at 4:30. So he starts on the air doing weather at 4:30 until I take over at 6. So he is completely in tune with what's going on as well, and he's actually controlling the weather graphics that people see at home. And we basically have a conference call before each hit and decide what's going on, what order we're going to put things in, and then he's controlling how they change as well. So it looks like it's magic out here, but there's a lot going on behind the curtain to get this off without a hitch, hopefully, most days.
Actually, time to meet our hometown hero here in Acton, and we have Dan Silva. He is a member of the Acton police force here, and we put things out to the community and say, hey, we're looking for certain people to recognize, and overwhelmingly, Dan's name kept coming up over and over again, and people in this town have a tremendous amount of respect and admiration for you for good reason. We'll tell you why in just a moment, but first of all, it's got to be flattering and humbling to know that so many people care about you and think so highly of you, Dan.
Quite humbling, yes. It's very nice that folks did that and sent in letters, and that's very nice. I appreciate it.
Dan isn't sure if they've been done this for nice or if he's been thrown under the bus. No, he has to talk about
they
himself.
won't tell me who sent in the email, so your identity has been protected.
Yes.
Dan, can we just real quickly, we don't want to protect the identity of the young man beside you, because this young man is your son, Mark.
Yes, it's my son, Mark. Say hi.
We're glad he could be with us. So, Dan, you're a vet?
Yes, currently still in the Massachusetts Army National Guard. I've been in the Army and Army National Guard for about 25 years now.
And you are a Bronze Star recipient.
Yes.
Tell us the story behind that.
Well, it's meritorious service. We deployed to Iraq in 2005, and we worked a casualty mission, meaning we were responsible, my unit and I were responsible for submitting casualty reports on soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marine folks who were injured overseas. Subsequently, a bunch of us ended up getting our emergency medical technician's license and working in trauma units as well.
So you went from sort of just tabulating and providing numbers and statistical information to actually assisting and helping guys who are wounded.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it was the greatest job in the world. The medical facilities overseas, the doctors, nurses, and medical technicians over there are unbelievable. I mean, it just phenomenal medicine and saving lives every single day, several times a day. It's very impressive medical system.
Well, let's bring it back now to Acton,
okay,
where not only are you a police officer, but you're wearing a shirt here, RAD, and
yes,
that stands for?
Rape Aggression Defense. It's a women's self-defense course
and it's
that we teach.
And it's a course that you teach, right?
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about that, because I know you're pretty passionate.
I am. Lawrence NATO started Rape Aggression Defense in early 1990, and it's a program designed for women that gives options for self-defense. So we say options for self-defense because it is not every scenario, not every move, not every technique works every single time. You know, and if you spend 20 years practicing the martial arts, then yes, you're going to be phenomenal at the martial arts. RAD is for the everyday person who doesn't spend 6, 8, 10 hours a day training. So we focus on our high school female population, primarily the young women who are getting ready to go off to college.
So you arm them with these techniques to protect themselves. You tell them during this class, by the way, hey, it's the only time you can hit a police officer, so
and not get in trouble. That's right. It's the only time you can get in a fight with a police officer and not get in trouble. And you know what? It's a lot of fun. It's you know.
But as you said, the most rewarding thing for you one day would be to somebody to come back to you and say, Dan, guess what? Unfortunately, I was put in a situation where I had to use this stuff, but it worked, and I defended myself, and everything was fine.
And you know, we hope they're never in that situation, but if they are, that they have the options and they're able to use them. So yeah.
Dan, your resume is, we're looking at it here, and there are so many things that you've been a part of here in this town. I understand why they chose you, and I don't think it was to throw you under the bus.
And because of that, probably the best part of being a hometown hero is you get a handsome Zip Trip t-shirt brought to you by the good folks at Eastern Bank. So we hope you'll wear this with pride. You certainly have earned it, and you know, it's quite understandable why the community is very proud of you and selected you as a hometown hero. So congratulations to you. Thank you very much. Mark, be proud of the old man over there, kid, right? Whoa, maybe you could fix the chair while we're at it. All right.
So, hey, when we have some folks from the Acton 9/11 coming on at 9:20. Acton911memorial.org, you know, where we want folks to go on the website.
And you lent a hand in helping them get.
I help the board members and you know, we get things done, and if everybody could go on and modest donations, we're still collecting, and it's really, you know what, it's one of those things that is all good. The cause and the folks that it's recognizing, it's just a really good cause, and it means a lot.
We'll get much more on that coming up in our 8 o'clock hour this morning, so we'll give you more details on it as well. Dan, again, congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Thanks
That's
again.
for you.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Mark. Thank you, honey.
Going to take a break. We'll continue here on the Fox 45 Morning News in just a moment. We Zip Trip from Acton.
You won an award today, so tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Fox 25 called me and wanted me to come in and talk about the Acton 9/11 Memorial, which I'm on the committee, and the Acton Police Department, and a women's self-defense class that we teach for high school young ladies who are going off to college. And arrived, and you know, while they were talking, the producers and stuff were like, "Oh, where's the hometown hero?" And they pointed to me, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. So apparently I was picked to be the hometown hero.
And you just learned about it today?
Yes, just learned about it this morning.
So
5 minutes before I went on.
wow. So how does that feel?
It's nice. I guess folks sent in emails and wrote letters. It's very nice. It's always nice to know that folks, think you're doing a good job and appreciate the work that you do. We have 33 members of the police department. We work very hard here to keep folks safe and to do the right thing for people,
And tell me how you got involved in the 9/11 memorial.
Absolutely. The Acton 9/11 Memorial, and it was started by firefighter Tom Matthews, and as they started adding members to the committee, Brian Richter, John Stackhouse, and John is the one who came to me and said, "Hey, you know what? We need some more support. Can you help out?" And absolutely, and I'm more of I would prefer to be more of the behind the scenes kind of person who, we need to get this. Okay, I'll go get that. We need to get this. I'll do that. I'm more comfortable in that role as opposed to standing in front of the camera with you.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Tell us, what are some things about Acton that you discovered when you started working here on the police force?
Well, I grew up in Concord. My family lives in Acton, and Acton's a great town. We really have, super nice people. It's we have so many resources here, whether it's trails, the park here at North Acton Recreation Area, all the facilities, the schools. Acton is a real nice place to live. And I think we do a pretty good job of keeping order here. We have 22,000 people, but we have 22,000 registered cars. So I know everybody doesn't have their own car, so I'm not exactly sure how that works out, but and anyone who's sat in traffic can figure they saw every one of them on the way to work.
Yeah, well, I think there's some families that have multiple cars, like 3 cars or 4 cars because of the number of kids. What are some important public safety issues that you think most Acton residents aren't really aware of but should be?
Well, obviously, with the vehicles, all the vehicle safety stuff. I mean, seatbelts, car seats for kids, and they truly do save lives. I think a lot of people don't understand that an airbag's not going to work properly if your seatbelt's not on. A seatbelt is not, without the airbag, you don't have maximum protection in a vehicle crash. These aren't the vehicles that we used to drive around in back in the day that were all made of steel. It's not that way anymore. Cars crumple, and, we need to use all of the safety systems in our vehicles. Other issues, like every other community in Massachusetts and in the world, drugs, and alcohol abuse are an issue. I work quite a bit with our young people, along with Detective Keith Campbell and Detective Tricia Sullivan, to, work on that issue with the kids, but it's challenging.
I can imagine that. And, now Acton's a fairly well-off community, so you sometimes think young people get involved in drugs and alcohol because they may not have some of the advantages, it's something to do, but what's something you've learned that maybe not all parents are aware of that may be part of the motivators that get kids involved in the first place?
Well, there's several motivators, the Commonwealth's not helping us out a whole lot as they change these laws. Truly unfair to the children when they do this.
How so? What laws are you referring to?
The marijuana laws. People have this belief that marijuana's okay. You can smoke forever and be perfectly fine. That is true. There are adults who smoke marijuana on a daily or recreational basis, and they are perfectly fine, I guess, But for our 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds, one of the things we tell the children, or the kids, because they're not really children at that age, is that, everybody has a hook out there. Everybody has something that will make them behave in a way that, their parents or they themselves would not be very proud of. And do we want to go and find that hook when we're 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, starting with marijuana because it's quote unquote legal in Massachusetts now? It is a drug, just like alcohol is a drug, and we don't want them to go out and find that hook at a young age because, we were all that age once and we know we weren't ready. We weren't ready to make major life decisions, and the use of drugs and alcohol can be a major life decision because it only takes one time to have a tragedy, and we've had them.
Acton is rich with history. This part of the state of Massachusetts played a real key role in the Revolutionary War, and it is reminded constantly for people. A reminder is the Isaac Davis Monument, which is located right here in Acton. Now, a company of Acton Minutemen were led by Captain Isaac Davis, and Davis helped to protect the North Bridge in Concord from an attack by the Redcoats. He heroically died on that spot, and today Davis is also honored with the Isaac Davis Trail, which leads from Acton Center right to the Old North Bridge, which is located in Concord. History buffs will also be delighted in visiting a true Revolutionary War era home. The Hosmer home is restored. It's an old salt box farmhouse. It was passed down through generations of their family and finally fell into the hands of the Acton Historical Society. Jonathan Hosmer was a bricklayer, and like his father before him, he also served as a deacon in his church. Now, down the road, we find the Ironworks Farm of South Acton. This is a nonprofit historical corporation operating Jones Tavern and the Faulkner House. Visitors are welcome on the last Sunday of every month from May to October, and of course, it's open during Patriots Day, which is in April. One of Acton's most important buildings is the historical 1860 Exchange Hall. For more than 150 years, the hall served as a center for commerce and religious gatherings. The Exchange Hall hosts lectures from the likes of Henry David Thoreau to Henry Ward Beecher in the late 1800s. And thanks to the building's 2009 restoration, the hall continues to offer a space for the public as well as private events. The dance floor that was installed in the late 1800s has never been repaired, but it is the perfect place, I hear, to hold a wedding reception or maybe an anniversary celebration. Rich in history here in Acton, and lots of nice people coming down to see us.
Kim, tell us about what it was like today interviewing people in Acton.
Well, first off, Acton is a lovely place, and the community was very open and very welcoming, and we appreciate that more than you can even imagine. We had some adverse conditions, thanks to Mother Nature, but she has a way of doing that to you sometimes. But everybody here was very flexible, understood the situation that we were dealing with, and were terrific. So we slid underneath the awning there, we took care of business, and then we'd go back out any chance we had. The only thing I'm really disappointed about is I wish that we could have been outside because this is such a gorgeous park and we could have shown it off a lot better.
I understand that. Tell me about some of the key people that you interviewed today that represent the town of Acton.
Well, I tell you, one of the fun interviews I just had a moment ago was the principal from the Chinese school here, and some of the little girls performed, and that was fantastic. And truth be known, I wish we could have given them more time because I think we would have, really had an opportunity to talk to the little girls, see what their experience is like, and see more of the dancing. So that part of it was great. But there was so many great people. I chatted with a woman who owns a yarn shop here, and they are making helmets or rather tops or hats for inside helmets for men overseas, and it was fabulous. And they have a full charity program right here in Acton. Who knew?
That's amazing. I learned something about the historical sites here in Acton, the Ironworks Farm and the whole history. I don't know if they were previewed today on the show, but
they were, and we did some about them. We did quite a bit about the Revolutionary War and all that Acton did and the parts that it played here. I also did not know until I came this morning that Acton was originally a part of Concord, and that this is the breakaway portion, although I'm reminded time and time again the men of Acton were ready to fight. So, but I learned a lot here this morning. It's terrific.
That's great. Is there anything about the behind-the-scenes story in terms of putting on this show on a weekly basis that might be interest to people in the town of Acton?
Well, I'll tell you, the most interesting part of behind the scenes is what the crew does. I don't think people have any concept of what it takes to take this show out for 4 full hours. These guys come 2 or 3 hours prior to our arrival and set all this up. They deal with these adverse conditions and they keep this on the air. It really is an amazing thing. I know your photographers have taken some pictures, and I hope people can appreciate what it is that they have to do.
Well, Kim, thank you so much for making yourself available to talk with us today, and thank you so much for coming to Acton.
Thank you very much. Have a great summer.
The 9/11 Memorial Fund here in Acton. This town impacted more so than many in Massachusetts. They lost 2 folks on 9/11, 2001, both on American Airlines Flight 11. We're going to talk more about that in just a second. The 9/11 Fund here is spearheaded by these 2 guys, John Stackhouse and Tom Matthews. And also with us this morning is Lauren Rosenzweig. She lost her husband, Phil, on that fateful day on September 11, 2001. And Lauren, first of all, thank you very much for coming out. What does it mean to you to have your community remember your husband and his life and his contributions through the 9/11 Memorial Fund they have here in Acton?
Well, I think it's wonderful that John and Tom and everyone pitched in to make this memorial in town and bring back a real piece of the World Trade Center steel. It will always make sure that Amy Sweeney and Phil Rosenzweig will be remembered, and it's just a great honor.
What do you want people to know about Phil?
Well, he was a computer geek. He worked for Sun Microsystems. He was a real family man and a really wonderful person, and just a great member of the community.
Fateful, amazingly, that both Phil and Amy from Acton were on the same flight that day. I had the opportunity to meet Amy a couple times. My wife is a former American's flight attendant, and Amy just vivacious, gregarious, fun-loving woman, and a hero when you consider what she did as a flight attendant on that day to relay the information back to everybody on the ground as to what was going on with